Hey everybody, it is Mica here, and for the past week I have been super duper busy because I've been playing so much Outer Worlds. I'm talking so much Outer Worlds, the new space cowboy shooter from Obsidian Entertainment, and I could not stop myself from taking a break and making a video about it because I'm just having such a good time in this game. And I promise that throughout this review I will do my best not to constantly compare it to Fallout, even though that's going to be really hard to do sometimes. Now, for those of you living under rocks, a brief summary of this game is that you are one of many people who were put into stasis and basically forgot about and left to drift off through space, only to be randomly revived by this maybe crazy and definitely missing a few screws dude who sends you out to find the ingredients to make a concoction that will wake everybody else left in stasis up. Now, you're not a hero destined for greatness and blah blah, you know, all those tired story tropes. You are just some rando that happened to be plucked out first and dropped into a solar system run by corporations. Now, these corporations are constantly bombarding you with advertisements and cheesy catchphrases. They basically run everything in this universe, and the masses are just worker drones used to sell products to other worker drones. It's not too unlike being dropped into the middle of the United States, am I right? Anyway, social commentary aside, the story is not groundbreaking, but it's fun, and it made me chuckle and laugh a few times. You're not going to experience a game with a deep storyline that has a lot to say and can be systematically taken apart and analyzed. I mean, it can be if you're that type of person, but it's not going to get really preachy and shove a bunch of stuff in your face. You are going to be entertained though, and sometimes you just want to play for fun, and that is okay. But what is here is good and it's well written, even if it does dip into that cheesy territory now and then. But you know, that's fine, because not being a super serious game, super serious dialogue would be a little out of place. The story is nothing new or revolutionary, but it's still damn entertaining, so don't skip it. And this whole nothing new thing also goes for your dialogue options as well. I mean, you basically have the nice, the neutral, the asshole, and the let's kill them all responses. But in its own way, it all works. Character creation is something that I always spend way too much of my time on because I want to make my character look perfect. I never do derpy or deformed like other people. I always want to make a hot and rugged bearded dude. You know, the type of dude I wish I was in real life. Not the mediocre looking bearded dude with a little belly and dirt under his nails from spending way too much time working in his gardens and doing houseplants and trees and whatnot. You know, the type of guy I am in real life. Unfortunately though, as soon as you get the perfect look for your character, you're outside of the menus, you're never ever gonna see them again, and it's kind of a bummer. So my advice would be just don't spend too much time on character creation because you don't see your character enough to really make it matter. They also throw all these options at you like strength and intelligence and whatnot without explaining too much about how they're used or how they can affect gameplay. Now, they do give you a little bit of information, but that information is very sparse, so you don't always know exactly what it's gonna do. But for the most part, these traits are overridden by the skills and traits you choose as you play through and level up, which can be easily respected. So, you know, just don't stress out too hard on which skills to pick initially. Just kind of go with your gut on it. Throughout the game, you are going to meet tons of characters with tons of personality types, from the complete jerk to the genuinely nice person, the corporate shill to those trying to bring down the man. But for the most part, they're all fairly likable. Now, that doesn't mean they're all likable, but there doesn't seem to be those mass swarms of annoying NPCs that repeat the same lines every time you pass them, and they all seem to respond to you differently depending on how you respond to them and the level of fame you have within their faction. Even your ship has a big personality, and honestly, her personality is one of the best. I really like the ship in this game. I find her hilarious. Anyway, and while there's a few exceptions to the rule, no one really comes across as an all-out villain or an all-out good guy. So when given the decision on which side to choose in any given situation, it isn't always an easy one to make. Companions are also very well done in this game. Their AI seems to work well, and the way they participate in conversations with NPCs adds a lot of flavor and makes them feel more like companions rather than just cannon fodder or taskmasters. Now, they are a bit weak. I mean, mine kept dying, but for the most part, they were just bonus damage or just there for buffs anyway, so it was frankly a non-issue, especially since they resurrect themselves after the battle is done. The Vicar, I am not a big fan of. I find him quite annoying, as well as Parvati, which may be shocking to some since I know she is a fan favorite, but I just find her personality and lack of self-confidence very off-putting and frankly quite annoying. But the others are not bad. Plus, and I cannot believe how big of a deal this was to me, when they are standing in a doorway, they don't block you. How other games cannot figure out how to keep companions from holding you hostage in a room is beyond me. But I have never gotten stuck somewhere because one of my companions wants to just stand there with that blank look in their face, spewing random dialogue at me. And it was surprising how happy that made me and how quickly I noticed it. From a technical standpoint, the battle in this game is really well done too. When I point and shoot at something, I'm gonna hit it. My bullets are not gonna zig or zag like they do in other games. But on a normal difficulty, weapons do feel either really powerful or not powerful at all. And taking out any gun that can spit out a lot of rounds on a rapid basis, like any assault rifle or anything that has a high magazine capacity, definitely feels more powerful than anything else. Handguns in particular feel incredibly weak in this game. So even at level 26, I'm using the same 3 guns I was using at level 10. I mean, there's just no point to most of the guns, it seems, and I just tend to break them down and recycle them. And I'm still waiting to find something with a silencer or something that can use to snipe from a distance, because as of right now, when I take a single shot, it is super loud and everyone comes running straight at me, which, you know, gets a little boring. I love the challenge of being a silent stalker, taking out my enemies one by one without ever being seen or heard. When it comes to the design of the world, it is so much more comfortable than other games that I said I was not going to compare every aspect of this game to, but it's really hard not to. There's so much color and the flora and fauna are so nicely designed, even if they're not too widely varied, and the way they block you from going places isn't always with the standard cliff or mountainside. I mean, sometimes they use lava flows or something. I mean, that's always really greatly appreciated because cliffs just get boring. The one thing that was kind of a bummer was that jumping is kind of pointless. I couldn't just jump over objects or solid rock piles that I should have been able to. Everything was made so slippery that unless you were jumping over a small gorge, you never really need to jump at all, and this does needlessly extend travel time sometimes, although it's only by the most pointlessly small amounts, as the map designs are pretty straightforward without any corridors or mazes to work your way through. In the open world, of course, I mean, in a building they are, because, I mean, they're buildings with rooms and halls and stuff. Not every building can have an open floor plan. I don't care what HGTV wants you to believe. But I spend so much time sometimes just gazing around at the landscape and looking up at the sky because this game is absolutely beautiful. And while there are pop-ins, they're really not that noticeable, especially compared to the way they are in other games, and I don't have any issues with FPS or rendering. And let me tell ya, playing a game without it being a choppy mess like others that I still am trying not to compare this game to, feels amazing. On a technical level, this game was smooth sailing for me, and I'm playing on max specs, but I do have a bit of a monster PC, so that could have easily have played into how flawlessly this game played. However, like I said, other games are a choppy mess, even with my beast, so it could also just be that this game is really well coded. One of the biggest things I've noticed though, is that I haven't really found any bugs yet. I've had no crashes, there have been no floating characters, monsters, or objects, there's been no falling through the map, mobs are not just suddenly rendered invulnerable. Standard bugs. The only thing that even remotely comes close to a bug that I've experienced is that some mobs' loot disappears before I can seem to claim it. Now, the claim sound will play and that dead thing will just lose interactability. So I'm not sure if I have it in my inventory or not, because honestly, I don't keep that much of a stock. I mean, it's always happened with fodder mobs, never with bosses or anything like that, or named mobs or canisters or lockboxes. So it could just be that I'm hitting something and it goes into my inventory and I'm not noticing it. But yeah, that's as close to a bug as I've ever encountered. Overall, in the end, I'm having a blast with this game, and since things change depending on the choices you make, it allows for quite a bit of replayability. I played a nice guy in my first playthrough, but I cannot wait to play a complete jerk and a homicidal maniac to see how things change and pan out. Same with the difficulty. The survival mode is something I cannot wait to do, and just to see how it plays and how things change. But don't come into this game expecting a huge new experience. They're not reinventing the wheel here, but they are cleaning it up, adding some flourishes, and making sure it gives you the smoothest and most enjoyable ride you have had yet. I frankly am for the first time excited to see what kind of DLC we're going to get, because the more Obsidian could give me of this game, the better. The base game is so good that they've already sold me on the DLC, and that's exactly how it should be. So, if you haven't picked this game up yet, I recommend you do. I was hesitant because of the Epic Store exclusivity, and I'm still on the fence about the Epic Store, especially with their Tencent affiliations and all that stuff. I'm still doing my research on it, but I'm glad I bit the bullet and I just got this game. It is a masterpiece, in my opinion. But that is all I have. So what do you think about The Outer Worlds? Did I miss anything? Do you love it? Do you hate it? I want to know your thoughts. So hit me up in the comments or on social media, which is linked below. And as per the usual, it's been a hoot. Until next time, have fun.